Okay, we are ready to begin our final presentation for today, and we are excited to introduce to you the CEO of Aptera Motors, Chris Anthony.
Save the best for last, all right. Aptera is driven to build a future where every journey is powered by the sun. I met my co-founder, Steve, in 2005, and he had a vision for applying advanced engineering to the problems of transportation, and we've been working ever since to bring this dream to life. The problem really is that modern transportation is driven by pollution. Burning fossil fuels, only getting a little bit of the energy out of the fuel that you burn to propel your vehicle forward is just a bad equation. It's bad for the environment. We think it's bad for our society. We believe Aptera is the solution. With its compelling efficiency and range, it's offering a whole new category in transportation, one where solar energy really provides you the freedom to use your transportation as you desire. A vehicle that creates its own fuel just offers so many different opportunities. This is an amazing picture down at one of our local lakes. You can take the Aptera out 200 miles to your favorite camping spot. You can camp for a week. You can actually come home with more energy in your Aptera than you left with. And solar really is the differentiation that we provide, creating this whole new vehicle segment. It's really the first vehicle that can provide you with all of your daily driving needs just with the power of the sun. We believe this really is freedom. When you apply these tactics to transportation, the impact is enormous. If we can put 1 million Aptera on the road, which we hope to do by 2038, the impact on the amount of free miles driven, the impact on the decrease in the gases that we put into our environment and air, and the reduction in the amount of oil and fuel that we use is just extraordinary. Our company really exists to do more. To do more with the parts and components to build a vehicle, to do more for our society, to do more for our environment. And we do that by building a mission-driven community first. We've been really blessed to have a lot of people attach themselves to our mission over the last few years. 1 million plus social followers, over 20,000 investors in our crowdfunding, and close to 50,000 reservations for our vehicle. We've created a business model that's scalable and capital light, working with some amazing partners, and we're really building a new category of technology that would be very difficult for anybody else to jump into. As I mentioned, close to 50,000 reservation holders with the top 2,000 delivery slots segmented off to people who invested large amounts into the company. Those investments being over $20,000 each just to get at the first 2,000 delivery slots. We feel this really is validating our market demand, and we feel that it really is a backlog that will take us a while to fill. Our manufacturing model is meant to build the most efficient vehicle in the world in the most efficient manner. We've been working with great industry partners, Sandy Monroe & Associates, are lean manufacturing experts out of Detroit. And we really leaned out our body structure into just 6 key structural parts. Modern aluminum and steel vehicles consist of hundreds of parts that need to be robotically positioned and welded and then painted. We kind of ditched that whole model. We use very large carbon fiber and e-glass parts, only 6 of them to build our whole vehicle. And I actually weigh more than the full body structure of our vehicle, so everything's human positionable and doesn't need large robotics to automate our plant. We have a really lean manufacturing footprint, no welding, no painting. Up to half of your CapEx for a modern automotive plant can come just in your paint shop. And building a paint shop in California is very, very difficult because of emission regulations. And we've got almost 100,000 square foot facility here in northern San Diego, and we can build about 20,000 vehicles out of that facility per year. We've got great partners from Co-Stamp in Italy to Roush Engineering, who's helped us make a very high volume product, Maxion for our solar cells out of the Philippines, and LG Energy Solutions, helping our partner CT&S in Korea to make our battery modules and then our battery packs, which we made here in the States. We've got an amazing leadership team, myself and Steve and Tom and Blake, who are here. We've just added Leon, who is our VP of Engineering. He's got great experience building up Tesla in the early days, and NEO, launching it from employee number 4 to I think over a couple thousand employees engineering-wise. And just added Tony and Todd to our board of directors just as we listed the company. Our first product is really designed to utilize energy efficiency and aerodynamics as a strategic lever, something that's never existed. 100 watt-hours per mile equals smaller battery packs. Your battery in an EV is the most expensive component of your bill of materials, so the cheaper you can make that battery pack, the cheaper you can make the overall vehicle. And with less materials in the vehicle, because we're so lightweight, taking more out of the environment, but you're also lowering your build costs because you're using less aluminum, using less carbon fiber. And that helps us keep higher margins because we're able to build a vehicle that uses less power per mile, that uses less inputs to build, that uses a smaller battery pack. Our vehicle uses 1/3 of the energy per mile as the average EV and weighs half as much. And that's really what makes it compelling. And we've got a lot of storage too. There's usually a video here, but this is a PDF. But you can see a vehicle outside. You can actually push the seats forward in this vehicle and actually camp in the back. You can fit a couple mountain bikes back here. You can fit a couple 7-foot surfboards. It really is a lot of storage. And MKBHD just put out a video today, which shows just how large that rear storage is. One of the early questions that we always get, because this vehicle is so amazing looking, is it safe? We really have designed this vehicle to be as safe as possible. I want my mom to be able to drive this. I want my teenage son, who's 14 now, and it's a scary proposition to give him a driver's license, but almost 16, I want him to be driving this too. But we attack safety with a low center of gravity because the battery is under the seats, so you keep a really low center of gravity. Crumple zones in the front, impact structures in the doors, and when last tested, we had the highest roof crush strength of any passenger vehicle on the road because we have a carbon fiber chassis that has basically a carbon fiber roll hoop above your head that's also steel reinforced. Solar power really is integral to our platform. It's kind of the first thing people see. Wow, what is this? Looks like a solar-powered spaceship. Exactly. We integrate solar into the vehicle, compound curved solar panels that are automotive grade, that are meant to last more than 10 years. Something that can provide you enough power so that for most daily driving, you would never need to plug this vehicle in. You just park it outside and drive. And because we had to tackle this problem as one of our first technical hurdles, we've got a lot of IP around our solar packages. You put all those together and you end up with a vehicle that can get over 400 miles with a standard range, has no need to charge for daily charging, and has a really difficult technology proposition if anybody else wanted to copy our solar-powered spaceship. Our future products are leveraging a lot of our intellectual property in solar. We've got active programs with several companies. Tello Trucks up here is integrating our solar on the roof. We're actively shipping units to Polydrops trailers, and we've got a couple programs for ground support equipment where this tug that pushes aircraft back for takeoff has actually been operating for 9 months now and never had to charge once. So there's a lot of labor that goes into taking this equipment from one side of the airport to the other and charging it. So if you can decrease that labor by having solar charge all your products with our automotive grade solar, it's a great benefit. And our vision for efficiency in aerodynamics, lightweightness, efficient powertrain, solar power, we think is extensible to a lot of different vehicles, but the first thing we want to tackle is this three-wheel platform in more of a commercial form. Fleets are really concerned about the total cost of ownership for their vehicles and cost per mile, and we're a fifth of the total cost of ownership of a Toyota Camry. So something like this becomes really compelling in units of 1,000, 2,000 to big fleet buyers, and we think that in the long run we could actually be selling more commercial vehicles than consumer vehicles. In our current plan right now, we're raising $65 million or deploying $65 million to get into low volume production and then stretching that plan into the future, which is basically just automating our plant to build higher and higher volumes. We've got a facility here in Carlsbad. We want to build a facility up in Sacramento and Texas and probably Australia and Europe. And that's how we'll grow the company and deliver on that promise of 1 million Apteras as soon as possible. We also recently became a public benefit corporation. We're really putting passion for purpose over profit, and it's really a different way to look at how a company is structured and what their main goals are. And our main goals are to do something that's good for the environment, to do something that's good for our community, something that's good for our employees, and along the way, make a lot of profits. The takeaways here are we're really doing more with less at Aptera. We've got an amazing team and a suite of technologies that we think is creating a whole new vehicle category in transportation. Just last week on Friday, we listed onto the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol SEV. So if you're interested, please look us up, ticker SEV. I saved a good amount of time for questions because I know that usually these go and then everybody has lots of questions. So I'd like for everybody to benefit from the questions you have. So shoot.
How much did you raise?
It was just a direct listing, so we didn't raise any money with the raise, but we did announce a $75 million equity line of credit before the raise, and obviously we're working on other strategies to get money into the company going forward now that we're a publicly listed company. Yes, sir?
You said, so basically $20,000 for each of the first 2,000 for states. How much are you actually going to be selling? Do you have any idea of how much you're actually going to be selling this for?
The base vehicle, 400-mile range, front-wheel drive is about $40,000. The $20,000 investment was just if you want to receive one of the first 2,000 Apteras, invest more than $10,000 and you can get one of those slots. On average, those slots went for around $20,000.
I guess what's the upgraded model though? You said that the standard front-wheel drive is 40.
What's the standard vehicle configuration?
No.
You mentioned the basic model, which one
Is there a model above?
Oh, yeah. So the base model, the one we'll build probably 5,000 of or so, is a 400-mile range Aptera. We'll probably have a smaller battery pack in the 250-mile range, which will be a cheaper version. And then we'll have a battery pack up to 1,000-mile range, and that'll be the more expensive version. So, that's really, the battery cost is really what drives the differentiation. The 1,000-mile range battery, much bigger, more expensive, smaller battery, smaller, you can make it a little cheaper, decontent the vehicle. But we want to build basically the same vehicle. They'll all be silver. They'll all have full solar. They'll all be front-wheel drive. They'll all have a 41 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and that'll be the first 5,000 or so vehicles we build just to streamline our manufacturing. Yes, sir.
Yeah, did you choose the direct listing because of the government shutdown, or what was the reason for the direct listing?
Oh, that's a good question. He asked, did we choose the direct listing because of the government shutdown? We got our S1 effective the morning of the government shutdown, so it was very close in timing, but no, that didn't drive our decision at all. We did our direct listing because we've got over 20,000 investors, and we were looking at how to get the company public and give them liquidity and have more tools in our quiver to go out and raise money for production. So.
And then the $65 million you're going to raise, is that a shelf offering, or what is that exactly?
The $65 million is just how much we need to deploy to get to low volume. We'll raise that in a bunch of different ways. It'll be through equity. It'll be some debt. We have a California Energy Commission grant that we're working through now. That's a matching grant. So that money will come in a lot of different ways, as will the growth money past that. But we're looking to raise it in smaller chunks now. We don't have a shelf offering, information available right now, but it could be a shelf offering in the future. Is there?
All right, slightly confused. So, fully charged, we get an option 250,
Yes.
range. So, I drive it, my 1,000 miles or my 400 miles, how long does it take if we just use the solar to charge that bad boy back?
A good way to think about the Aptera is just an electric vehicle at its heart. Electric vehicle, 400-mile range battery pack. The solar is really just a trickle charger to charge your battery pack over time. It really is technically a solar hybrid. But if you leave it outside, it can charge back up to 40 miles a day in sunny regions. So if you only drive 30 miles a day, you never have to plug it in. You just leave it outside and the trickle charger keeps it fully charged. If you drive to see grandma 200 miles, then you're gonna bring it back. You're not gonna have those 200 miles in your tank. It's gonna take a few days for the solar to recharge your battery pack. So if you use 20 miles a day, it'll take you 10 days to kind of recoup that 200 miles you took out of it. You can also plug it in the rear. A regular 110 extension cord will get you 150 miles of charge overnight. It's a crucial point because most other EVs you buy, you also have to buy a big expensive home charger. $5,000, call an electrician, put a big box on the wall. Now you can charge your big SUV, EV, 150 miles overnight. With the Aptera, you don't have to install anything. The same plug that you plug your iPhone into can charge the Aptera 150 miles overnight. And that's a big benefit, not just for consumers, but for fleet buyers. One of the biggest problems that fleets have deploying electric vehicles is they say, hey, I just bought 100 EVs. I need the power company to come in and plug up 100 chargers for me so I can charge them. And the power company laughs at them and says, we can't deploy that much infrastructure to your parking lot. Are you crazy? You have to, it would be a whole nightmare. So the Aptera could be deployed in a very different way. You don't need to tax the grid. You don't need to install charging infrastructure. A company could buy 1,000 of these. They could put them in a parking lot, and if they did need to recharge them, they could take the power off of a light pole and put 100, 150 miles back into these vehicles overnight if they were driven, further than the 40 miles a day on average. So.
When are you targeting production? I've been watching you guys for a while. When is production going to happen?
It's always a T-minus funding number, but as we raise the $65 million to deploy, we're looking at 9 to 12 months before we can start shipping vehicles to customers. Obviously, it'll be a slow ramp to start, and then we'll ramp up to heavier volumes over time. Yes, sir?
Somebody that's involved in the industry, I like your 40-mile number. We know that average US sedan drives 30.4 miles per day. A tank commuter is less than 24 miles for a round-trip commute, and fleet vehicles typically 20 miles. In fact, our large federal fleet's less than 10 miles a day. So I think your 40 miles is a great number. And actually, my question is, why 400? I don't know. I have a Rivian that has 300-mile plus range, and I never have to worry about range. 400 seems like a big number.
Yeah, when we were starting the company, we really looked across the other vehicles available, and it seemed like people were selecting vehicles for range. The best-selling Teslas, the best-selling other vehicles are really adopted because of range. So we said, what sort of compelling range can we offer in the Aptera at a reasonable cost? And really, the 300-plus mile range seemed to fit, and the way that our vehicle's configured, the amount of space under the seats is about 41 kilowatt hours of space when you have a really energy-dense battery pack. So it's kind of a cost equation that it's a sensible number. It's only 41 kilowatt hours, which is a pretty small battery pack. It's affordable to put into our bill of materials and still offer, a compellingly priced vehicle. We just kind of landed on 400. But it could be that, after we ship the first 5,000, the demand seems to line up around 200 miles or so. But almost 60% of our orders were just for the 400-mile range version before we decided to make that our standard first edition. So in the beginning, we offered all 4 different variants, 250, 400, 600, 1,000-mile variants. People were choosing the 400 overwhelmingly, so that's kind of how we zeroed in on that as well. Yes, sir?
Your funding comes in the time period you think. What about the NTSB? Are you ready? Is this thing road rated? If you build one, can we get it on the road tomorrow?
Yeah, we're a federal motor vehicle manufacturer, and we can sell the vehicles that are on our floor right now. Obviously, we need to go through validation. We're going through crash testing, those things. We want to prove out our vehicle. We want to show the vehicle to a lot of people before it's actually driven, and get a lot of people's feedback on some of the smaller features, software and stuff that'll continue to evolve over time. So we're kind of 6 months into that validation process. That process will probably take another 6 months. and we need that time before we actually start shipping vehicles because we want to ship the best vehicles possible. Obviously, we want the feedback to be overwhelmingly positive when people start receiving the first vehicle. Marcus Brownlee just put out a video this morning. It was great to see kind of the first big press person drive the vehicle, and hey, it's a solar-powered spaceship that you can drive on the freeway, and has all the pieces and components needed to be a really successful new entrant into the transportation space. So we want to get more and more of that feedback over the next 6 months. Yes?
You said commercial would be a big factor for you. Have you spoken to any companies about
We have. The question was on fleet vehicles and if we've spoken to any big customers. We've talked to a lot of people that have had a lot of interest. Usually it always circles back to, we'd love to test them. Send us the first 5 units and we'll put them in our fleet and we'll give you feedback on them. So as soon as we start low volume production, then we can start to seed some of those vehicles into these fleet opportunities, and I think we'll see a good conversion from there. Anybody else? Sir? Yeah?
any driver assistance capabilities here? I don't want to say self-driving or anything along those lines, but any of that kind of technology going into this?
Yeah, we've been testing systems for about 2 years now. We've been working with a local company called Comma AI. They have an AI-driven open pilot system, is what they call it, and it integrates into our vehicle. It'll be an add-on, so you buy the base vehicle and then you kind of plug it in where the rear view camera is, but it works great. We've put a lot of miles on it, and it's gotten really good feedback from the market in other vehicles. So it's kind of an easy add-on for us. It's not full autonomy, but it's it's lane keep, it's automatic emergency braking, it's get you to your destination, and it works really, really well. We're proud of our work with them so far.
Forgive me, you might have already answered this, but for sale in the U.S. only, or you've got plans to go international with it as well?
The question was, is it just for the U.S. or is it for international too? 85% of our orders are from the U.S., but we have designed it for the overseas market too. Homologation into those overseas market is a little more difficult than the U.S. The U.S. has established a category as autocycle, motorcycle, and it's over all 50 states. Even though this is a motorcycle, you don't need a motorcycle's license to drive it because it has 3 wheels, not 2, and because you have something over your head, you don't need to wear a helmet in this vehicle. So it is an interesting kind of sub-market segment in this auto cycle segment. And in Europe, it's kind of all over the place depending on where you are. In some places, it's got to be a small truck category, and in some places they do have the category for auto cycle, motorcycle. So, but we've gotten a lot of orders in some interesting places. Sweden is really forward-thinking on stuff like this. So it is interesting to think that these could be in a lot of snowier climates, and we have designed it for snow driving. In Southern California, you get about 11,000 miles a year of free driving just from solar power. In places like New York, places where it snows a lot more, it's more like 8,500 miles a year. But still, very compelling amount of free driving. That means you don't have to plug it in. That means you're not paying for gasoline. It means it's just free transportation that you can use in any way you want. So.
Your current manufacturing footprint is here in Carlsbad, right? You don't have, you mentioned, I think, Sacramento, Texas. You don't have anything.
The question was, is our current manufacturing facility just here in Carlsbad? Yes, we have one facility up in North County here, right by Palomar Airport. It's 87,000 square feet. But really what we're trying to do is optimize that facility and then cookie cutter copy that from here to Northern California, to Texas, to possibly Europe. There's a lot of government incentives. Everybody wants jobs in their area. So we're taking kind of a micro factory approach instead of a mega factory approach, where we can keep the production of the vehicle, which is really just light assembly. Most of the vehicles built in sub-assemblies. We bring it to the factory. Every Aptera is built in less than 2 hours. We can put out about 40 Apteras per shift. So run 2 shifts, you can get 80 Apteras out of a facility. But what that does is it can keep the production close to the customer, so they can take a pilgrimage and visit our factory, and we can train them on how to drive the vehicle. It also keeps warranty parts and service close to the customers too. So if we can spread these micro factories around and there's a problem, we can support the service of it worldwide. We're also a right to repair company, so if something goes wrong with your Aptera, we'll send you a part to fix it within 24 hours and actually give you the information on how to fix it. You can take it to a local mechanic, you can fix it yourself, or we can send out a service agent with a mobile van to help you. So that's all I got. I've run out of time, but I greatly appreciate all the questions. I think it was very educational. And please look up SEV on the NASDAQ. We would love your support. Tell all your friends about our solar-powered spaceship. And thank you.